Hey, good morning. This is EJ LeBlanc, and with the 22 push-up challenge is what we're going to be talking about today. And essentially, the 22 push-up challenge is a awareness campaign to give people to help remember the fact that there's a massive problem with how many veterans are committing suicide every day. Um, you know, the 22 a day number, whether or not that's the actual number of people that are committing suicide or not, that's almost immaterial, right? Like, the fact is, whether it's 17 or 22 or 25 or 27, it's too much. It's got to stop. But how will it stop? It's not going to stop by, commanding officers saying, take this e-learning course. As an instructional systems designer, I'm all for, let's talk about being genuine and what it really takes to get something done. So, as an instructional systems designer, I had the great privilege of, working with the Coast Guard on a number of occasions throughout my career, and different capacities along the way, and working for various military, including the Air Force, the Navy, a bunch of other stuff, and I make online courses. I make e-learning events. I make digital media. I make training solutions, learning solutions, performance support solutions, that kind of stuff. And so one day I was working with a project, and we were tasked to create an e-learning module, and I'm not going to say at which particular point in my career we did this, right? So you can't say, well, it was this particular client, or it was this particular customer, or I was working for that particular subcontractor at that time. There's dozens of them, man. There's no, I'm not asking you to figure it out, and I'm trying to, I don't like talking ill about any of the people that I've had the great opportunity to be able to work for, man. The customer, here's another bit of advice my mentor is always telling me. The customer may not be right, but they are never wrong. So you have to build a relationship, right? And you have to, whenever a particular intervention falls on its face, after you said, hey, this isn't a good idea, only after you've built that trust are they really going to even listen to a word you say. And it's going to be the same thing here, right? Like, I'm talking to a camera by myself and my back porch or whatever, ostensibly to the world, but you're not going to really listen to a word you say until you know that you could trust me, right? It is what it is. That's a lie. Oh boy. But any rate, so on this particular course, I was tasked by a customer to design a e-learning course regarding suicide awareness and basically promoting resiliency training for about $500. So there is the problem. There's this huge problem, right? Massive problem. And yes, it was an event. So I said no, right? I'm sorry if I'm rambling, but I said no. And they came back and said, will you be willing to manage the project and let someone else do it? Thereby, the cost of the project went up a little bit. And I really didn't have a choice at this point. The customer may not be right, but they're never wrong. And so in order to keep the relationship and to, continue working with this client who I valued very greatly, um, I said, sure, okay, I'll do it. And I really didn't manage the project. I just kind of did some QA stuff for it. Um, you know, um, really, this particular developer, uh, you know, fresh out of college, she did, this person did a great job, and should be proud of the effort that she did for this. Uh, uh, however, under those circumstances, right? However, huge problem. 22 people killing themselves a day. Uh, how, as a senior stakeholder, do I invest in addressing this problem? Right? Is this is the, and so I heard tell about the decision making that went into, you know, this particular course, and so anyway, now it's this thing that you could see, and that people are taking, and these times in particular, I get frustrated because you say that it's important, you say that this is a big problem, you say, and you acknowledge that, but then you treat it as if you're only checking a box, right? Um, so what does it take in order to really share and really promote awareness and really deal with this? It doesn't take an e-learning course, first of all. Like that might be the start, but what's really needed is a cultural transformation from start to finish, where it's okay for people to say that they're having a hard time. It's okay for people to say that in fact, not only is it okay, they encourage it because they have leaders that listen, and leaders that care, and leaders that are engaged in the goings on of their lives. I had a number of petty officers that were like, you know, instrumental, practically father figures, right? Like right there with me and deeply involved in my life, that enabled me to achieve and succeed. Um, there was one particular petty officer who became a chief later on, Daniel Harvey Glasgow, Gunny. Uh, that man poured his life into me, and really like wanted to make sure that I was set up for success. Taught me all sorts of, you know, uh, uh, awesome and interesting things. Listened to me whenever I was going through stuff, and made jokes that I will never ever forget for the rest of my life. And just a funny, upbeat man that's the very definition of what it means to be an excellent sailor, an excellent, we all called him the Gunny because this guy was hardcore, like intense, serious, but fun, but I don't know, like you got to meet the guy, like he's amazing, and I am forever grateful for that kind of leadership. But what's happening is, by and large, you're not taught. You don't have these people that you can confide in and talk to and go through. And in fact, I've even heard like there's this excellent book that talks about how it's called "Turn the Ship Around." And in this book, David Marquet, a retired Navy captain, talks about how he implemented what's called intent-based leadership in his submarine, and how it totally shifted the paradigm for his crew on what it meant to maintain the well-being and the safety, maintenance, and operation and mission execution of that particular warship. And in the Navy, you really better have your stuff together if you tell the captain he doesn't know what he's talking about, or that the captain's wrong. right? You had better think about that twice. Uh, and it talks about how at this one particular moment, because he had implemented because Marquette had implemented a intent-based leadership framework with the crew. Um, while they were at a particular mission, he was tired. They were at this one particular location, and he said, "Hey, um, let's you know, uh, we're moving out of position, and we're going to go into the we're going to run aground if we keep going in this way." And um, and so he gave an order. The captain gave an order that said, basically, stop this, go the other way. And the quartermaster said, "Captain, you're wrong." Right? You're dead silence in the crew. Captain realized he was wrong. Realized he was reading the map upside down, and could have made the drastic, terrible error of running that ship aground. However, that sailor was the only thing that stopped him from doing that. Now, earlier on in that story, that sailor, the chiefs of that crew, were like, "We gotta send him to captain's mast because he didn't show up for work. What a dirtbag! This guy deserves to go to captain's mast and get kicked out of here. He doesn't deserve to be here." And young African American, and and so they go talk to this guy. You know, the captain takes it upon himself to take the report chit and go actually physically talk to the sailor. Um, and had he not done that, he would not have known. Oh, this guy's been working 3 days straight with no sleep. He basically got to a point where he said, "I've had enough. I can't take anymore. I need to go to sleep." And he took that upon himself to go to sleep, which was probably, speaking to someone that's been up 3 days straight in the Navy, uh, 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 you know, good on him. Good on that person for doing that. And so the next question the captain had was, well, why is this guy working so hard, doing 3 days work, 3 days, going 3 days without sleep? Is there no one else that could stand and watch? As it turns out, there were. The very chiefs who were telling telling the captain that he was a total dirtbag and needed to be kicked out of the Navy, were the very same ones, lo and behold, that could have been standing to watch. Instead, they were like standing to watch like once a week or this other ridiculous nonsense, and basically living the life, taking it easy, because that was their right as a chief. That was their privilege as a chief. That kind of leader, that kind of leadership, it's everywhere. And that kind of leadership needs to stop. And good on Captain Marquette for not only writing about it, but taking charge in such a way to make it very clear that to be a leader is to be a servant. To be a leader is to make sure that your people are taken care of, and to remove roadblocks from their performance, and to remove barriers to the performance so that they could shine. Because nobody wants to show up to work to be a dirtbag. So what would have happened is not only that, had he not taken the time to care about and go and talk to that particular person, not only would he have hurt and damaged a life forever, right? You're talking generations of damage to that particular person in that situation, um, for no good reason, right? And um, but that same thing would have come right back around. Who would have told him, no, Captain, you were wrong, right? Who would have had the relationship with him to trust him that much to say, no, Captain, you're wrong? Who would have turned it? Who would have had his back at that moment? And the answer is, I don't think anybody. I think they would have done what they were told, and I think the ship would have ran aground. I think the captain would have lost his career, and I think that mission would not have been executed, which means that lives could have been lost. And you were underground in a place like that. That's a big bad deal. Um, so We never know what good will come from the decisions that we make today. We only choose to do what's right because it's right today. And we have the hope that eventually the good things will come out of it. We don't know, right? We have no control. Like, I'm wearing a mask. I'm trying to wash my hands and take care of my mom who lives with us, you know. But I don't know if my efforts are for naught. And if we're all going to get coronavirus and die, I don't have any control over that. But as much as I am able, I treat people with respect. I love people, I listen to them, and I address their concerns. And I invest. So back to that e-learning course before we close out at 15 minutes. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. Uh, what a scrambled video this is. I gotta like make an outline or something. Uh, uh, if you're, it takes those relationships. It takes relationships. It takes having good leaders that listen. If you are a leader, listen to your people. If you're a leader that needs help, don't think that it's quote unquote lonely at the top. It is, but especially if you make it that way, um, be open and vulnerable. Talk to people. Get the help you need. The world does not hang on you, right? It takes a team and everything. It takes a team of teams, you know? Um, and so we all need each other. In the same way it takes a village to raise a child, it takes many of us to be our best selves. So, any rate, such are my thoughts. Uh, Thanks for listening. Sorry if I rambled. Let's go ahead and do the 22 push-ups. Uh, and no matter what, have a great day, man. Know that you're loved. Yeet. That works. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. You are loved. Have a great day.